Well, welcome back to the channel, audio friends. And I didn't really want to do this review, but I'm a firm believer in just passing along honest impressions. And unfortunately, this product, I was excited to try, but I just have to admit that it's been kind of a disappointment for me through and through as I've used it over the last couple of months. And it's not that it's a horrible product, but it just never impressed me. And I was looking to be impressed, I think. So what I'm talking about is the Hifiman EF400 R2R DAC amp. Okay. Now, this is an all-in-one unit, which I was hoping, as I've been a huge R2R fan, and I pretty much, only want to use R2R DACs at this point, if I have a choice. And what I was hoping this would be is kind of an R2R DAC solid state, because I don't need any fancy solid state amps, because I'm leaning more towards the tube camp lately, but I wanted something that was good enough, and then I could send a signal to a tube amp that I wanted to use as well. So I was hoping the internal DAC in this would be good enough for that, and I was hoping the internal amp would be at least meet kind of a minimum requirement for me. And I just got to say, it just doesn't do it for me. All right. So we'll take a look at the unit. We'll talk about what it comes with. We'll look at what it can do and all that. And of course we'll talk about the sound and ultimately why to me, it feels like it misses the mark. Okay. So let's dive into the unit and we'll take a look here. Before I get any further into this, I'll just let you know that Hifiman did send this to me for review. Obviously, they're not influencing my review in any way, and ultimately it'll go back to them at some point. So taking a look at the unit here, I really thought it was a pretty handsome unit. Honestly, I like the brushed metal face. I like the kind of the dual knob setup here, although it's not as functional as I would hope, but we'll get to that a little bit later. I mean, you got 1/4 inch, you got 3.5, you got 4.4, you got 4 pins, so seemingly you got all the outputs that you would think you would want, which was appealing, because again, I was hoping this could be kind of the default solid state, that I just wouldn't have to think about getting another solid state, you know what I mean? So it ticks a lot of boxes in that regard. Going around to the back here, and this is where I feel like it loses just a little bit of functionality, is you've got balance outs and you've got RCA outs, but you don't have an option to run another DAC into this, which was frustrating for me because I wanted to test, what if I ran a different DAC into this? I wish I could have tested that. I couldn't. Okay. You got Type-C coming in, you got USB-A coming in, you got a PC power cable, power switch on the back. All that's totally fine. Okay. So I mean, the unit itself, it seems like you have almost everything you want, with the exception of being able to put another source into this. Now, like I said, I think it looks pretty good. The size, it's on the larger size, but that's okay because it sits nicely on your desk. You don't have to worry about it, getting pushed around if you're plugging and unplugging things and stuff like that. But it also doesn't feel super solid, like not what I'm used to anyway. And like specifically, like this case, like you can feel some flex in it when you're grabbing it and stuff like that. It looks good, but the feel of it doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. And I would say that's the same way with the knob feel here. Like it works fine, but it's definitely not what I'm used to at this point. Okay. Now this guy over here, this is just a kind of interesting enough. It's got 2 low gains, 2 high gains, and they are no oversampling and oversampling. I tried them all. I found the low gain to be pretty high as is. And the oversampling stuff just doesn't really interest me a whole lot. I tried it on all of them. I didn't notice one sounding really better than another, personally. So I use it mostly on low gain, no oversampling is what I mainly used it on, but I did try it on just about everything. Okay. So that's the unit. And so, it's fine. I think where part of part of my issue is this thing retails for $600, and for $600, I'm expecting, some pretty significant build quality. I'm expecting some heft. I'm expecting, a good volume pot, and it falls short for me on the build mark. I mean, although it does look good, I admit that I do like the design of it. I like the way it looks. Okay, so let's talk sound here. I mean, if you want some specs, gets something like 4.4 watts per channel. I didn't find what ohm rating that's at. I would assume that's like a 32 ohm or even 16 ohm load coming out of it. But either way, you should have plenty of power for most things coming out of it. So that, I don't think that's an issue here at all. Just sound-wise, I tried a whole bunch of headphones on this. I mean, I tried Hifiman stuff. I've got the Sindara Close that I've been using. I tried T60 Argons. I tried Aria Stealth. I tried Edition XS. I've got the Utopia, the old model that I was trying on it. And I didn't ever really feel like this sounded better than really anything else that I've got on hand. So, I mean, I've been using the Quicksilver here at my desk, which I really like that amp, and it's a totally different class. I understand it's tubes and it's like $1,000. I get that. I did run this guy for the outs to test the DAC. I did run this into my Lokius, and then I ran that into both the Quicksilver amp and into for a solid state comparison, I have the People G103, which is like their super low end model, and I don't love that amp either, but I never felt like the EF400 sounded any better than the G103, which is, I feel like saying something because I bought that amp for like $100, right? And so the other R2R DAC that I was comparing this to mostly was the Cayin RU6, which you guys know I love, and that's just it's got a depth, it's got a smoothness, it's a really easy listening DAC, and that's why I really like that one. And I just always felt like the EF400, it never had the depth, it never had kind of the natural spatial information that I feel like the RU6 and most R2R DACs have. I always thought it sounds to me more like a Delta Sigma DAC, honestly. So it sounds a little bit dry, a little bit etchy. I feel like just it doesn't give you like the depth and the space and the smoothness that I associate with R2R DACs, and I just didn't find that this DAC to have it. And then as far as the amplification portion goes, again, I don't feel like there was ever an instance with any headphones that I liked just the EF400 with its DAC, and its amp. I never felt like I liked it better than the Cayin RU6 and the People G103. And again, I don't love the People G103. That just happens to be like the only solid state amp that I've got right now, really, to compare to. But again, Cayin RU6 you can buy for $200 easily on the used market. People 103, I don't know, $150. So that's a total of $350. And I felt like it always sounds better than this, which is retailing for $600, maybe $500 now. It looks like it might be on sale for. Maybe you can find one on the used market for $400, but still, it just sounds too dry. It just doesn't have the qualities that I was looking for with like an R2R setup that I was hoping it would have. So I was hoping it would feel liquidy and natural and have some depth and have good spatial information. I feel like this just it's flat and dry and etchy, and I can't get into it. And so, again, I came into this thing with high hopes thinking, oh, this could be a great solution, like an easy all-in-one, has the solid state in there, has a decent R2R DAC, like a good enough DAC, good enough solid state, again, that I thought hopefully it would work. If not, to sit at my main desk, to sit at my bedside table, and I just don't like it. And I wish I could articulate better, more of the reasons why I don't like it, but it just, because I feel like I'm being really negative here, but it just doesn't have it, I don't think. And, and I feel bad saying that because I like Hifiman stuff. I use a lot of Hifiman stuff. A lot of their headphones I feel like are great competitors at their price points. But I'm just, their amplification and their R2R stuff, I'm just not sure it's there yet, is I guess what I have to say. And, yeah, I mean, I hope they keep working on it, or I don't know. I don't know. That's probably enough. I mean, you've got my impressions. So for me, this one's a pass. I just think it's not quite there yet, at least not competitive with the other stuff that's on the market as far as dacs and amplification. And, that's it. So hopefully you found this useful. Thanks for watching. As always, I appreciate your time. Have you heard one of these? Do you have one? Do you feel differently about it? Am I off base here? I'd love to hear some more opinions on this. I haven't seen a ton on it. So certainly don't let my voice be the only one out there. So feel free to comment below if you've got something else to add about this DAC amp combo here. So thanks to Hifiman for letting me give it a shot. I really appreciate that. I'll look forward to trying some more of your products in the future. And specifically, I've got the closed-back Sindara here, and I think that's pretty darn good. So it's not that I don't like Hifiman stuff. I do typically, but just not this particular unit. So I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. As always, I hope to see you in the next one.